All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me just jump straight into it. I'm sorry. I'm currently eating, so just bear that in mind. I just came from the pre-event thing where I talked a little bit about what we are going to do now, what we have done so far, where we're going, all that good stuff. And right now I'm just waiting for Lauren. There was possibilities that we were going to have a new guest today, but we are going to it's going to be on a later date. So we're not going to stress with that today. Oh, damn. Hold on. I'm just going to have to put you back into this place while I fix the lighting in here because I had to restart my computer. I had a whole bunch of technical issues just before I got started on this, and it was really interesting to see how it just took off. Let's do like that. Now we can see each other. Hi, good to see you. So now we do have the chat as normal, and we have Lauren on her way. She's going to come in just as a wizard comes in on time. Not before, not after, but just as it's supposed to happen. I'm having breakfast. I was trying to make everything happen at once. It worked fabulously. The only thing that didn't quite work was the fact that I had to be a little bit unpolite in terms of talking to you with my face full of food. We have so many things to talk about. Speaking of, there we are. We do the black intro thing, and then, hey. It's interesting. Only happens with Lauren. Hey.
Did I do the black abyss thing again?
Yeah. What? How? What is that?
Me. That's me.
Touche.
Oh, are you having like dinner? I should have brought my lunch.
I'm sorry. It's my breakfast, and it just today has been from.
Right. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know how it
Same.
is. Yeah.
Same. Yes, I do. So
How?
good to see you again.
Yeah. Right back at you. There has been many lifetimes since last time we spoke, and I don't know where to start. As usual, like a
Mhm.
week. Are you kidding me?
Mhm.
That's kind of like
It's a
a
long
lot.
time. It's a long time.
Yeah. This weekend I had some magic happen as usual, and we can talk about that after you fill me in. What has been happening on your end? How has the magic been? Any epicness?
Mm. Hmm. All right. Fill you in. Mm. Lifetimes lived. It's so hard for me to even go on the past. I'm so, so focused. Yeah, huge personal alchemy, discovering very interesting little, you know how I am about just the kind of subtle energetics of things and peeling away new layers and seeing more things and honoring my humanness and giving myself some grace. Currently launching multiple things at once and following like just insanely intuitively like, oh, none of this really makes sense at all, um in such a way that's been so beautifully profound and fun. And um yeah, so just having this quick download of like, oh, you need to go live right now, like right now, go do it, and going and doing it. And then you need to create this right now, going and doing it. You need to just press follow or connect with this person right now. Some people are, I'm on calls and people are like, so why did you? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you. It's just like, okay. Like it was purely intuitively. And then watching how that synchronicity leads to the next thing, and yeah, launching launching Anchor, which is like personal power and honoring that, like that's what I activate in people. Also at a time where like the word power is very coded with um yeah, some kind of negative
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
beliefs around that, and me realizing even though I'm in many groups with many different like highly spiritual, evolved, whatever you want to call it, and then actually feeling uncomfortable, like, "Ooh, yes, trust the universe and what my medicine is here to do." So, like, yeah, just a lot of, like, just living the experience and letting that
Mm.
unfold, and then letting that, um yeah, letting that kind of whatever wisdom needs to come through, and realizing I've been doing this work like this for the past year, and then just having this, like, multidimensional experience, like program experience, whatever you want to call it, come through. And yeah, immediately just invite people in without any hesitation. So yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Do you feel like you
Yeah.
have to invite them in, or have people come into your space because they were drawn to you?
Both. I do find presently uh, an interesting little energetic thing where it depends on the kind of client and who they are. I have noticed some of the higher level clients, or not level, but you know what I mean. For my premium stuff,
Mm.
um,
Those who were
there
ready, more ready.
there's a little bit of a barrier of like being burnt before.
Mm.
This is something like I've been starting to address because I'm feeling it, like letting that conversation flow where it needs to go, letting that experience with me flow where it needs to go in a way that isn't like once again just willy-nilly, but allowing the de-armoring process to happen. This is
Mm.
like something I've noticed. And then yeah, a lot of people are just drawn, but a lot of people aren't willing.
Mm.
There's yeah, two very different. There are people who are intrigued, and I love that, and that's beautiful. But then there are people who cross the threshold. Two
Yeah.
very different kind of people, which I'm learning because I'm always in a learning process around around that. So yeah, a lot of people drawn, which is beautiful. So just having very human conversations and enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah. I know
Yeah,
exactly what you mean. I love that. Yeah.
yeah,
Because, yeah, I can't really. I feel like there's nothing more to add to it because it's like, yes,
mm,
yeah, you communicated
yeah,
perfectly. Right now, there are so many things happening at once, and I'm having issues all again, as we do all the time. Like, is that really real? Like, is
mm,
it's on tape, so it has to be. Magic is happening every day, and right now, as you said, you just follow the flow and you just go with the intuitive sensation of I should do that. I need to do that. I feel called to do this. Today we actually had a pre-session antechamber.
oh,
Yeah,
tell me about
we were like live for an hour out in nature. Just
it.
stopped
Mhm.
like 30 minutes before we jumped on here. It was very interesting. I didn't know
Wow.
what to expect, but again, it just happened, and I had to do it because I
Yeah,
have so many things
yeah,
in my head that I just had to get some clarity. I just had to kind of vent a little bit to get
yeah.
to this frequency of, or to the clarity and the calm of being able to go into this conversation and not just try to share a life story in 5 minutes. You know how that is. So it was like this
Yeah, we
courtesy,
could try. We could try. Yeah.
yeah,
By
courtesy
the way,
flush.
you look different. Your energy is different.
Yeah, I can
Mhm.
imagine because,
Mhm.
yeah, speaking of energy, I have had when we talk like this, you and me, we've talked a few times a week about magic and about these practical things and also multidimensional things in terms of how these seemingly impossible synchronicities just tend to happen.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't do that with everyone. And this weekend I was at a party. at a like a confirmation party. I'm not sure if that's how you say it in
Mhm.
the Americas. Yeah, and there I met a lot of different people at different levels of experience and the journey, as one might say, and it gave me a perspective that I almost wasn't ready to handle. It was like, oh God, if that is the majority, then how the heck are they viewing my life, right? How, wow, is the, oh, I was just sitting there just
Oh,
taking it in. And,
did you have to, like, explain what you do? Is
you
this
know,
a
well,
okay?
yes and no, because,
'Cause I had that this weekend too. Like, how do
yeah,
we muggle it? I don't know. I don't know.
well,
Yeah.
I managed pretty well because
Mm.
I was sitting,
Maybe you can help me.
yeah, I
Maybe
was
you can
sitting
help
at
me.
a table, four people, the day of the party, and this person came up. He was not supposed to be there, but he came, and he came by sheer chance and coincidences, as he said. He went through the things, and he's like, "But now I see that this was definitely meant to happen." I was like, "Yes,
Mhm.
that feels kind of
Mhm.
magical, doesn't it?" And then two people added or got down at the table. They sat down. We were now four people, and he said that he could sense the difference from the three of the people sitting around him right now. Like he felt a calm with me, and he was kind of fascinated by that. Like there was something about the energy, and he probably don't talk about that too much about
Mhm.
what happens in the zone of activation. I don't know what you're gonna call it, but so we were sitting there, and he asks after he gave me a little introduction into his life. He had been working for 7 years as a furniture mover, basically, and he's moving and lugging furniture from the store and into the customer's house. And he has been in many, many, many houses and homes, and just seeing how the people living there and how their kind of space is formed of who they are, right? That's when the term beige became very apt. To be beige is just to be monotone and functionally operational. You have the you have the things, but it lacks soul. There's an energy that is not there. We went into a lot of things, and I was just sitting there. Wow, that was some powerful insights.
Yeah.
And then he asked, "What do you do?" I was like, "Well,
Well then.
I'm a coach, right?" And
Mhm.
then I see how that
Mhm.
lands. And then he's like,
Mhm. Mhm.
"All right." So yeah, I'm in personal, professional, and spiritual development. So holistic development coach. And okay, interesting. What does that mean? And then we go a little bit more into it, and he's responding to what I'm saying, and he's like, yeah, and then, it feels like XYZ, and then at the end of the call, it's like, okay, or at the end of the talk, it's like, cool, because we had to go this stance first, but if you were to ask me now, and I had the insight I have right now, I am a frequency elevator, and I'm basically a multidimensional creator of different realities and timelines. He's like, yeah, yeah, but I see how you couldn't say that in the first, like in the beginning. Like, yeah. And
Yeah.
we got into the topic of muggling and
Mhm. Mhm.
what is actually taking place by the fact that we were sitting there, us two, and the fact that all these other things was happening in terms of who was going to come to the party, how the party came to be, how all the stress was so unnecessary because there was a knowing. The frickin' weather was predicted to be shitty. But
Mhm.
no, we knew there was going to be sun. And what do
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
We had
Yeah.
sun, right?
Yeah.
I met people who seemed very bland, who appeared to be geniuses with a lot of experiences and networks and different initiatives within plant medicine. I was like, did not see that coming. We need to connect.
Wow. Mhm.
There was so
Mhm.
many things. There's a series here in Norway called Shame. Like it's a movie or a TV series just called Shame, and one of the actors were at that party. So it's like I didn't talk to him, but when we start to just take an objective view of what
Yeah.
was present at that place,
Yeah. Yeah.
it blew my
Incredible.
yeah, it blew my mind because here I was representative of the Legacy Forge,
Mhm.
living with the leader and the group that is creating Mimir's well in the oldest city in Norway, right next. Like, it was so epic when you see it from my perspective.
Oh my
It
god.
was just blowing my mind. So I shut up for most of the time. Like, I talked, but I was not talking about the things I wanted to talk about.
Mm.
And yeah, it was overwhelming. It was insightful. It was enriching. It was fulfilling. It was a lot. It was draining. I came back, just had to sit down because as we had these talks, two of the people sitting there was just sitting there, while me and the guy connecting frequentially were shaking, vibrating physically. Like, do you have another blanket? Because this is not the cold. It was completely out of this
Yeah.
world.
Wow.
And you can't,
Wow.
yeah, he said that, yeah, I know what you mean. This is not the cold, and this is the first time I felt like this.
Mhm.
Like, yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
imagine
Yeah.
what this is gonna be in like a group of 10.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Wow.
yeah, things took a turn, and that's why my energy is shifted because I woke up today, Tuesday, after coming home, centering myself a little bit, being with my family, just trying to chill after a long journey, and then I come up to my place, I wake up, and I have this call with someone who has been saying interesting things, like coming into the tribe, seeing
Mhm.
that I like what you're doing, I love the vision, I want to support, and the normal things. I see these things all the time. And then seeing that, I also knew that I was not supposed to be direct with you in this time frame where I came in, so I waited for this moment. And I said, let's talk. We did. And now, let's just say that all of a sudden there are two houses, two locations raiding right now for this weekend in the city where I wanted to host an event physically. And it's just
Mhm.
now, now it's just and
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
also said I wanted to raise 25 million euros. That too seems to also be in the works, and I don't know how to react to it. I'm just gonna sit down. I'm gonna wait, enjoy the ride, and know that what we're doing
Yeah. The
is
the
right.
reaction is, of course.
Of course, yes, yes. That's refreshing. It's so simple.
Right? Because this is now when we're talking about energy and frequency and like this is now normalized.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah,
Of course. This is the level of people you attract. Of course. This is the level in which you are playing and growing. Of course.
yeah. Makes it fun.
Well done.
Yeah, right back
Well done.
at you. Right back at you. It's
Um, I love it.
yeah.
I love it.
I'm like I'm at that point where normally, if this was me 5 years ago, I would probably not know how to contain myself. But
Mm.
today, I was like, you know, tonight, after I've done the practicals, I'm going to sit down at the fire. I'm going to sit down there. I'm going to look into the fire, and I'm going to just know that I'm going to have a little bit more clarity then than I have now.
Mhm,
And I'm just
mhm.
going to take it 1 minute at a time.
Yeah. Yeah, that 1 minute at a time. I
Yeah,
got you. Yeah.
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 Feels good to be It feels good to be riding the wave. And I also want to just thank you. I appreciate you. Well, we have started here with the Antechamber and everything that's coming up. Tomorrow, we have our first actual core session.
Mm.
Who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk? No,
Yeah,
no thunking here. It's not allowed. No
no,
thinking. No thinking, no
exactly,
thunking. That's not where the magic is. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So now with everything that has been put into place right now, I've been saying it all day. All the pieces of the puzzle has been laid out. Now I'm just introducing them to each other and just
Mhm. Yeah.
seeing it unfold.
Yep.
Yeah.
The mycelial network.
Yeah. Yeah. The magical mycelial network. Wow.
Mhm.
So that
That's what it
we've
is.
been talking for 24 hours, and 24 minutes. I cannot tell. I don't think that a lot of people have that much efficiency in 24 hours.
Yeah.
24
Yeah,
minutes.
we're done. Yeah, we just covered all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm enjoying this as well. Um, Watching what is being birthed and watching also the experience of my own mind wanting to get in there,
Yeah.
and like direct it
Yeah.
and just being the witness of that and coming back to the core, the
Yeah.
central knowing, the knowing that is driving all of this. Like even just yeah, my last call was so great. Somebody I've been connected with and he does luxury workspaces and um shout out to Selected Workspaces. Really beautiful company, getting off the ground, watching the momentum there, and going into his membership, and then all of a sudden seeing like 60% of the people inside I know. And either I've connected him or through the, yeah. And so I'm like, of course. And
Yeah.
he's like, "Yeah, I owe this to you or XYZ because thank you for telling me about so and so who's in." And I'm like, I'm in there. I'm like, "How the heck are you in here? What is happening?" And it just like close people,
Yeah.
like
Tribe.
whole family in there, and it's just like this is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
And of course, and of course, and it's really interesting because I'm noticing now the smallness of the world, the
Yeah.
smallness and the bigness, but the smallness of these communities connecting and how we're feeding into each other and yeah, referring each other, helping each other, building all at the same time and what that really does. And like when we talk about the mastermind concept, right? When you have multiple people or even just two people, right, approaching let's call it a problem, but whatever, approaching a puzzle. What happens when these individuals come together, right? And then when we branch out and we kind of bring new people into the fold, it's like endlessly fascinating
Yeah.
for me because it was astounding when I went in there and it was shocking. Like, wait a second, how do you know how did that happen? And it's just this beautiful synchronicity that's just happening. That's like it's just magic to watch. It's
Yeah.
just freaking magic,
Yeah.
you know? And knowing that it's going to continue to be so and continue to grow and continue to like what we're building and what we're making is yeah, like it's already here.
Mm.
I feel it very like present energetically, but the knowing of what is to come is like that's really big. That's
Yeah.
really really big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, mind blown. Mind blown. Yeah. And then just this weekend I had this same thing of like how can I live more? How can I do more life?
Mm.
And follow that intuitively and have the vulnerable conversation. Like somebody I had two calls with. My second call, asked me some really powerful question. I was like, "You know what? Let me tell you about my soul wound." Where it's like I never tell anybody this stuff. Like this for me, like I'm not into just being vulnerable to be
Mm.
vulnerable or trying to be authentic. Like to me, that's bullshit. I don't do that online. Like actually I'm a very private person. But allowing myself to kind of de-armor in these conversations has just been so liberating. Like
Mm.
the solid like neutrality, power, just complete disregard for what anyone thinks about me, or it's just but and being able to like sit in that very human moment of, yeah, you've asked me this question, so I'm going to tell you, like this is the experience. And then also being ravaged by the human experience, and then also knowing that your divine power core is just thriving at all
Mm.
times is like, yeah, it's everything. And going from those conversations into like, okay, I got to go to the beach, so let's go to the beach. And that's what I did, and I could have done lots of other things. Right, could have. For me, water is very activating. and
Mm.
and I go to this specific beach that is a dog beach, and I can't take my dog. She needs a little bit of training. She's kind of a hot mess.
Mm.
So but I always go to the dog beach anyway, and I just for hours watch this one guy throw the stick. The dog would bark, go get it, so happy, swim to get the stick, come on back, throw the stick, like 3 hours just doing that, and I was like, "This is it. This is everything. It's
Yeah.
everything."
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then last night going through a wild crucible of, yeah, just using my own medicine, being in that space of like, wow, this is really dark and unknown, to being able to like flip it, to get up this morning, and be like, all right, I'm gonna do my live stream and feel so excited and so happy and so knowing that like everything is absolutely perfect. Yeah.
Exactly.
The human journey. The human journey. So yeah, that's just like where I'm at, is not necessarily loosey goosey, allowing everything to just like, but yeah, allowing myself to just be and trust that, and then take very specific, potent moves to create the thing that I'm here to create, and to architect, like no fucks given to what I'm actually seeing in the 3D. Like it's just, I was saying to a friend, like I love being delusional. Like I think we've had this
Yeah.
conversation too, like about just like I love it.
Yeah.
You you can only do this if you're, slightly delusional,
Yeah.
because if you're then swayed by every outside thing, seeing the thing, not seeing the thing, people seeing you a certain way, people pleasing, whatever that is, then it becomes a limiter. So yeah, next level unlocked, I guess.
Yeah. Damn, we should have a full-on dedicated talk just about that fact of the concept of delusional or delusion. Yeah, because I've had a lot of calls or chats, physically and digitally, this week
Yeah.
about that. Because I agree 100%. And also knowing and feeling that everything is exactly how it's supposed to be right now. For everything
Hmm.
that is to come, right now, everything is so lined up for that to happen.
Yeah.
Most people would be like, Delulu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And I think that comes from the logical mind, the call it the ego, that just wants to keep you safe,
Yep.
you know. Just but we're looking at the three-dimensional, we're looking at the 3D, we're looking at the steps, the logical make sense steps towards whatever our desire is. But if we look at it, most of the time our desire is actually completely delusional too, like does not make sense, is usually, if we let ourselves have it, usually pretty big. Um, yeah, and our mind just wants to find the way,
Mm.
fix it, not sit in any kind of unknown or feeling uncomfortable. And when somebody who's just tethered to the logical way, um, it's also like your relationship with um, risk and chaos
Mm.
and void space. I just did a whole live about that's a whole other conversation. How people look at void space. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not, yeah. That's a whole other conversation because a lot of it's like, oh, like let's just pray for it to pass. Or it's like, yeah, it's kind of a necessary thing, but people misinterpret it and then get into like, they lean back and they're like, oh, nothing's making sense. So I'm just going to kind of lean back here and follow my emotions around and actually no, you can intentionally use void space. You don't need to get fucked up every time you don't see what you want. And yeah, so there's that experience. But yeah, going into the mind and what we think we want and the steps required, actually it requires us to enter the unknown. um, and what I have known in my experience is the deeper you allow yourself to go into the unknown, the bigger the void space you allow yourself to have. There's that, call it, quantum leap, if you will.
Mm.
But it's like the faster it comes to you, that the hyper speed um, of the thing, the hyper growth of the thing, the highest, most profound outcomes come from, yeah, it's like the bigger the leap. But that requires you to be delusional. It's like, I'm going to jump off this cliff now without seeing a landing place. Um, but I just, for my life, and was a very safe person, by the way, type A, very, very, very safe. Uh, I would be the one on the side, like, no, 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 don't jump, you're gonna break your leg, or you don't know what's there, right? But I do not, and I refuse to be that person. I don't want to know. I was just telling my husband last night, like, I don't want to know what my life's going to be like as that person. I refuse to operate
Mm.
in that paradigm because I don't want to know, like, when I'm like 80 or whatever, hoping I make it that, like, I just don't want to think back of like, well, if I would have not, nope. So you got to be delusional to be like, well, there's got to be something there past
Mm.
the cliff, right? Or so delusional, you're like, okay, I'm going to sprout wings. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to
Mm.
sprout some wings, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Sorry.
yeah.
Probably not what. Because may I share?
Yes, please. Why are you asking?
So
Yes.
I have three things or four, especially three things that I want to weave in as the
Mm,
response, but it's also because it's very, very interesting that you said exactly how you said it.
mm,
There was a time where I took a large, massive dose of psilocybin melanceata, like Liberty caps, and
mm,
I had a trip sitter, which was my partner, and I did not know what I was going into. It was the first time that I had to move any electronic device away from me because it was causing a whole bunch of pain and discomfort, and I could hear the fucking frequencies. It's like if you hear how those things are just going back, it gets overwhelming.
yeah,
So I removed it.
yeah.
I elevated my own frequency, which I can kind of see, and it's just I felt this, it
Mhm,
was
mhm,
in, and my reality shifted as I did that. My intention was to go in there and kind of defy my inoperable blood clot diagnoses. Like I had been sentenced to a life of this state, and I didn't want to have it. So what that made my mind made that look like was me standing on top of a cliff with my family behind me, ready to jump off, hoping that there's water beneath the clouds underneath me, and just leap of faith. So that too, that brings me into the quantum leap, right? Which in many
mm.
ways can be the tiniest thing. Because as Tony
Yes.
Robbins said in Practicality, when you're doing a golf swing and you're missing the shot by 50 meters to the right or the left, it's actually just a few millimeters. It's in
Yep.
how you hit, right? So you're always just a few millimeters from wherever you are in terms of
Yes.
how close you are to success. And then we come into the delusion. So a few days ago or a few weeks ago, a time passed in the in the past. I had a tweet where I sat in the back of the car and I had a brain fart. And I said religion. Religion. Legion. One, like many people, group, huge. And religion being the attempt to kind of create something huge to regain power. What? Religion. Interesting. De-illusion.
Mm. Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Right?
That's so good.
It's the
Yeah,
same
that's it.
thing. Yeah, you have to go in through
Right.
the illusion and just be
That's
de-illusioning it.
right.
Like you have to be delusional. Because if you don't,
Yeah.
you're gonna be
Yeah,
stuck in the illusion that it's there for everyone else, but
exactly.
you see through it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like these
Yeah.
conversations.
Me too.
Wow.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. Exactly. That. Oh, that's a golden nugget right there. That's it. That's it. And it's like, the illusion of it's funny because it's like the mind is like, no, this is logical and solid and makes total sense, but that's actually the illusion.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, um, that's a beautiful way of articulating that. 1000%.
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah, yesterday I had a rant because I had to kind of settle myself in when I came back from the party or the event.
Mm,
And my way of doing that is getting my thoughts out, the purge. And
yeah.
just I put on the camera, I spoke my just whatever was on my mind. And it was fragments of different thought patterns, but it gave me more room to see what was in there. And when I did that, I ended the rant because there was a point in any of these videos where you go from not knowing exactly where it's going to go until you find a path, and there's like, and then it's ending on a high
Yep.
note, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So it was
Mhm.
very much like, well, maybe normal is the problem, people. Yeah, maybe what we conceive of as normal is the actual issue. Have we thought about this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Some of us, I guess, have thought about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
we're growing in
Yeah.
numbers, and I'm very happy about that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
yeah, we're,
Same.
we're creating it. Like we are recreating a new thing beyond the illusion. Like it's the new consciousness. It's so hard to explain, but it's like so easy
Mhm.
to explain.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like just join for the ride, I guess.
Yeah. Join
Wow.
join for the ride.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Mm. I love it. Just silence. I feel whole, just complete. Like it's very unusual. You know that. Have I said this on another one of ours? I don't know. But being the insatiable being,
Mm.
um, and yeah, and having that question posed to me has allowed me to see also because I can do this for hours. Like we could do this for hours.
Yeah. Days, probably even.
Days probably. Maybe that's when we do like 24 hours. How long can we? Yeah, no, I'll probably end up being a little cranky bastard. But um maybe if I'm well fed. Well, snacks. Snacks always, yeah.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, but we could. And seeing that also like God, everything doesn't need to be analyzed. Everything doesn't need to be intellectualized. Everything doesn't need to be named and labeled. And we don't need to shadow hunt. We don't need to, but yet part of my work is being this illuminator, right? That's always like, let me tell you what I see.
Yeah.
Because I'm constantly getting this information of
Yeah.
like what I see and what's in the way and um how fast that works and are people ready for it? Are they not ready for it? Like what all the stuff that happens and then yeah, being in that like, oh, okay, I'm actually full,
Yeah.
satiated, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Till I get off this call.
Yeah.
And then well no, I'm actually gonna eat. That's important. Um But yeah, and sometimes being so in the moment is, um yeah, like when you ask me like, yeah, like, "What did you do?" Or somebody will say, "What did you do over the weekend?" And
Mm,
I have to dig
yeah.
really, really deep to see what happened even like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's like crazy, you know? Do you find that?
Yeah, I said literally said that on the last
I know, it's
the pre-ante
like
chamber. Yeah. It was
"Wait,
like
who are you?"
I literally said that like I want to have this story told. The story of
Mhm.
because I was watching footage again. I was going through a few of the now I can call it a case study to be honest because there
Yeah,
happened things that just made me see things from a different perspective and as I was seeing it I was like shit this story is not just my own this has different perspectives. It's like the backstory of different characters of the same story. No wonder it has been hard to communicate. It's so
yeah,
expansive.
yeah,
But I was like I need to get it out. I'm sitting with it alone and it's kind of burning inside, but at the same time, it's boiling. It's getting ready. It's being
yeah,
alchemized, and so I
yes,
felt like I could go in and talk about the last decade. I could talk about the last year. I could talk about the last month, week, and day. But if you take into consideration that every single second of that has basically been as intense as the last hour of my life, you don't have time to listen to that.
yeah,
So I will have to take this one step at a time when the time invites itself and then just share it piece by piece. And it has been
yeah,
working pretty well because
yeah,
now it's like the clarity is finding its place at every single minute. Yeah, just living 1 minute at a time. I think it changed my life because
yes,
every now that we're going through, it has magic packed into it. So
yeah,
much potency that it is hard to kind of experience and accept it and then just forget about the fact that you like it's almost like forget about trying to recall it because the
yeah,
epicness and the overwhelming sensation of having it in itself was enough like you can go and say a three word headline and just like yeah it's a story but
exactly.
time and a place but yeah
Oh,
other
I
than
love
that
it.
we're just
I
channeling
love it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah
yeah, agreed. I'm curious what the response is 'cause this is super cool. I feel like we walk into, like, literally this room here, right? Like, we're, like, at this round table, just you and I hanging out, but there are others here, like, I can feel them
yeah
here, whether it's, like, now or
yeah
later, and, um, yeah, I'm just curious, like, what is the response to these videos, if anything? You know? Like, what and it's not it's, like, pure
yeah
curiosity of, like,
it's
what is it doing to
alluring
people?
yeah no people are feeling something. It's like
Mm.
they can't really put into words what it is. It's the energy, it's the mystery, but it's still for some it's too mysterious. For others,
Mhm.
it's very intriguing. For some, still it is just next level, and all depending on where it is. Right? We can have a live stream. Right? Like last time, we had one person who saw it during the live,
Oh,
and then
really?
a lot of
Really?
people reaching out afterwards
Mhm.
talking about how they saw the recording. And
Yeah.
then it's kind of growing into the whole thing that we have. Like
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
the
I
anti
feel the momentum, like, snowballing.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's like the
Yep.
story is taking place. And I've kind of started to reconsider Saga. Saga was meant as the start, but to be honest, everything all of this has been an epic saga. So it's like, hmm,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, did it just get bigger? Oh my god,
Yeah, it
okay.
always expands, right? And then it's like when it
Yeah.
expands in a way where it kind of finds its place, it's so much easier to add to it. It's like they say in marketing in the beginning, right? If you want to do something, master one platform and then go on to the next one, you have that one automated
Yeah.
or whatever. When you don't have to do all the things at once. That's what's
Mhm.
happening. It's now
Yeah.
taking on a life of its own. We have gone from trying to put it into a label that became a energy, which became a entity. Now people are actually just referring to all of this as almost like a dragon. Something is
Mhm.
awakening, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's happening with these interactions. We're stepping into this
Yeah.
magical, sacred room, and then just having these epic, expansive conversations with people who see.
Mhm.
I'm still trying to get the grips with that, but it's like it's happening. And tomorrow it's
Yeah.
going to be even more interesting because tomorrow it's the actual core.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you're looking
Yeah.
forward to that because I've been thinking,
Of
what should I
course.
prepare?
Oh.
Nothing. That now hasn't come yet.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I'm like, "That now? We don't need to
Right?
we're fine." Yeah. Yeah. I just had like, a little nudge um to almost, like, ask if people have questions
Yeah.
or topics
Yeah.
or, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for us to riff on because, not that, like, really the deep stuff, the more, you know, that people might need guidance on,
Yeah.
that really needs to happen in a container, but,
Yeah.
um, if there are specific topics, I'm very curious. I'm very curious to hear what those are, and yeah, that just came through, like, I wonder if people have questions. Hmm,
Yeah.
what do you
So
point.
if you have questions, write them in the chat. You know, ask us. And also,
Oh, I see, like, a little 2. There are 2 people here.
yeah, we have two people right here, right
Oh,
now. But for those people watching
oh, I just
this
opened the
recording,
chat.
we
Mhm.
should either we're gonna have a thing for this probably on the we can add a thing on the antechamber place like the lazyforge.com/ac. We could have a form, just ask your question, we're gonna bring that up on the next session, or just have different things so we have one place. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on where people can submit their questions to have them raised on these sessions?
Yeah, I mean, putting it on that page, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Um, getting in there, if they're joining on the chat. Um, I mean, yeah, I think I like that. I like
Yeah.
that getting on the page because if we're doing like Messenger, that might be a little,
Yeah, that gets
yeah, a
overwhelming
lot.
because
Mhm.
yeah. But I
Yeah.
I actually had a question today from the earlier session where we were supposed to have a fly on the wall today in this antechamber, but
Mm.
yeah, but as we know, it's kind of taking shape as we go. So the energy, this is what I love about that, because there is a lot of energy in this situation. So
Yes.
what
Yeah.
would that be a overwhelming experience was the question. Would that be something that could be too much? And the fact that it was even acknowledged makes me very hopeful, very I feel very good about that because people know about the potency of this and they know
Mhm.
what happens when you're in a conversation that goes into where you're at. You know, we're talking from our experiences. We're going through these days and life and just creating things that most people will find hard to believe, right?
Yeah.
And when you have a experience like that, when you're at that frequency, let's just refer to this as frequencies, then it's easier to see that as a possibility. But if you don't, if you are one who are on a journey or you are currently in a situation that is overwhelming, it could either provide clarity or it could possibly initiate a quantum download that is just going
Mhm.
to blast your energy field
Yes.
to the next
Yes.
level and it's just going to make things worse. So,
Yes.
yeah,
I
yeah,
have a habit of doing that to people. Yeah, I think that, yeah, I agree. I agree. And yes and no. I think that even just what we're doing here, like
yeah,
going into, not to say it's not deep at all, but we're just skimming the surface. Like we
exactly,
haven't.
exactly.
So we can do a skim. We
Yeah,
can do a skim. And I think that probably was the urge of like, okay, is a lot of energy here. Um, there is a lot of potency here, and channeling that into a direction for me always feels really activating. So I
Yeah.
react, I respond to a lot of what, you know, if someone has a question or
Yeah.
someone's like, can you elaborate on XYZ to have a
Mm.
little bit of that? But yeah, I don't think going into yeah, not necessarily guiding anyone in that way, but maybe a general.
Yeah.
I'm just curious what people want to hear about as well, you know?
I think we
Um
just had something be born. What if we have a segment of the antechamber when it's just you and me, and people submit their questions? We have a segment like called "Ask the Oracle" or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Nice.
love it.
Nice.
I love there we go.
See, it's just expanding every single time. It's just adding to the thing.
Like, I love that. You're like, "Okay, there we go. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it." I love it. And
And
I'm even seeing well, this goes out onto YouTube, right?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I I love that. Um, I don't know. It's funny. I'm like, we're already doing it because I'm thinking, oh well, um, like podcast, right? But this is literally like it. This is like
This
it's
is
already
yeah.
they've already done it.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's such a
well, look
weird
at
experience, but yeah.
Look at that, right? It's like building retroactively or just
Yeah.
like your my mind just came up with to
Yeah.
what actually I don't know.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It
Look
takes
at
some
us.
getting used to, isn't it? Like you.
Already happened.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It is a theme. Like that's how we do things. It's
Yeah.
like the things are created before we need them. So when we need them, it's like we have a
Yes.
thing for that, and
Yeah.
it is just following an invisible plan and invisible. Shout out to the invisible compass. You go check that out.
Invisible Compass podcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're next. I have a huge queue. I gotta get on that. Um
Yeah.
our combo was yeah, that's like out of this world on that one. Um yeah, that's it. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Um and like even just seeing like in my own life how these kind of quantum leaps happen. I hate that term, but I just use it because it's easy. But yeah, seeing this like it's the building of it. Like when you're talking about the boiling, that's
Mm.
always how I've experienced everything. Where like for instance, Anchor, right? This experience, it seemingly came out of nowhere,
Mm.
but it has been building in my body the entire year
Yeah.
because it's like, okay, you've embodied this thing. Now the portal is open, and that's why it's so easy to just create,
Mm.
to launch it, to do the thing, to know exactly what it is, to know what the frequency is, to know who it's for. Like it's seemingly coming from nowhere, but absolutely not. It's been building in the body for yeah, for at least a year. So many things like that,
One
you
could
know.
say that it has been building in the body since beyond time itself.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
that too.
We have one. We have someone who actually engaged, and
Oh,
yeah. You want me to take that right now? Is that a stupid question? Shouldn't have asked, right? So Ellen
yeah.
says, "My life is like that too. Synchronicities all over, deep connection to Earth, divine magic, whatever you want to call it. Flowing a flow. I have no idea where it goes, but it's fun and it's unexpected. Human mycelial connection.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yes.
We
Yes.
have oh, God. We have so many things that is going to come up. Thank you for being here, Ellen. By the way, that's cool.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Beautiful. And and also the knowing that mycelial connections have purpose.
yeah.
So there's an element to, and you know how I always love to flip this into, because a lot of spiritual is like just flow. And yeah, that can
Mm,
be really, that's a complicated topic sometimes, complex, maybe not complicated, but also the knowing that
yeah.
you get to architect, that you get to build, that um, there's intention
Mm,
there. And I think when you have powerful intention in your mycelial network, and also what you're building, it's like that's the thing, right? The trees are benefiting, the mushrooms are benefiting, everything else is benefiting.
Mm,
It's part of an entire ecosystem, right? And it's like this for me, that's where expansion happens, if that makes sense. Like I'm
mm,
always in this paradoxical, I'm always holding paradox. So for me, it's like flow, but no, also architecting to like the precise degree,
yeah,
but also flow, but
yeah,
also
yeah,
so there's that experience of like actually you do know where you're going.
yeah, 100%. I was actually, this also goes into like the conversation this weekend. It's like we're having this deck of cards. Most people don't know what the, if you spread them out, most people don't know what's coming next. But it's
Mhm.
like we have had an insight into what those next cards looks like because it's just that knowing. And having
Yeah.
put these other things into place before this, we know what will happen logically or energetically, whatever you want to have it, to some
Mm.
degree. It's like I feel like sometimes it's like knowing the future, but it's still knowing it because you created it. You're just going with the
Yes.
flow with your own actions. So it's like
Yeah, exactly.
still yeah.
Yeah, it's like this really strange retroactive forward, it's all at the same time, right? Like
Yeah.
that's it. That beautifully stated there. Yeah. Mhm.
Magic.
Yeah.
We are closing in on the hour.
We are.
So amazing.
How did that happen?
We do it. Time. It's not a thing.
Damn.
uh,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we're just
It's
gonna
amazing.
continue to do this. Like we for sure have one of these antechambers every other Tuesday. Like
Mhm.
that's a given. Try to do it weekly. Also having the core. We have a lot of things going on, and if
We
any
do.
of what we do resonates, you should reach out because we have a
Yeah.
lot of things to talk about and a lot of things to create. Well, and a world to change and a universe to explore. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is a lot of fun.
it is a lot of fun. I always say that it's going to be, but goddamn, are you kidding me? I was trying to go, trying to not smile all the time. Like, yeah, it's hard to contain yourself. Like,
I know.
yeah,
I know.
if people
Mhm.
knew how,
I don't contain it anymore. I'm done. I'm done. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's exactly. I'm kind of a little bit worried about how much would be blasting out at me. Like if I was not containing anything of what's happening right now, I feel like a Zen master, to be honest. Like this morning, I was like, if you
I
had,
wanna see yeah, see, like, that's where I'm like, "What? Just let it out."
yeah,
Like, this is I don't know. I can hold it. I don't know about anybody else, but that's fine. That's not gonna bother me. You haven't met
oh,
my daughter, so I
yeah,
got a
we're
dragon.
gonna,
I
okay,
literally birthed a dragon, so it's like, yeah, bring
challenge
whatever.
accepted. Challenge accepted. I'm gonna
Zen
figure out the best
master.
way to just blow that
Mhm,
completely off the hinges.
mhm. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
unleash the energy.
Nice.
All right.
So good. This was amazing. Yeah, for those who wanna actually hear what we're up to and have us help guide, help you architect, help you shred, help you essentially have killing the old identities of who you thought you were so that you can expand into who you are
Mm,
already.
exactly.
Beyond time and beyond space. That's what we do. So I feel like these are just beautiful beacons for the people who yeah, want to continue to experience this.
100%. And also, we did have the chat with Zach. We should have one of these
Mhm.
live with Zach. So if I was meant to send him a message, I think it was meant to be like this as well, where we haven't like connected afterwards because so many things
Yeah,
have happened. I was like,
yeah.
I was thinking a few days ago, we are gonna send him a little message, but
I just chatted with him this morning.
oh,
He's
how
my man. I
coincidental!
talk with him all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I will. He's. I'm sure,
Oh, I know.
1000%.
Yeah,
He's gonna be down.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Because
So to be continued, and we'll have some other really cool guests.
hell yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah. All
All
right,
right, my friend. This is amazing.
amazing as always. I will see you on the flip side.
Yep. Yep.
All
Take
right.
it easy and we'll talk soon.
Talk soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.
That was it for this round of the Antechamber. Hope you're enjoying this as much as I am, because god damn, can it be more epic? I think so.